Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Yes. Let's get this shit started. I wonder what we're going to talk about today. Anybody? Anybody? Anybody want to figure out what we're going to talk about today? Yeah, it's the only thing anyone's talking about. And there's probably a lot of stuff we're not talking about because we're talking about this because, you know, what can you do? But anyway, I'm going to talk about what you want to talk about too, though, because, you know, you drop a Hamilton in the tip jar. I'm going to talk about what you want to talk about. You can hijack the show at any point, just like Gunfox61 did. In fact, Gunfox61 already dropped a Hamilton in the tip jar. That makes you, Gunfox.
You are
the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you. And has a nice little interesting tidbit that came from, I believe, my great state of Minnesota. And so we'll definitely look at this article. In fact, let me open that bad boy up. Oh no, wrong. Why did it do? Oh no, this is in California. There was something similar that happened here, but I saw this one. This is out of California, so we'll make sure we put that in the mix. We'll put it right in the middle of when we talk about trending stuff, even though it's not necessarily trending, but it's also Q&A Friday. So you got the little link up there, and if you're on YouTube, well, you have to be on YouTube because you're not watching me right now. If you're on Rumble, because it didn't work again. But that's okay. We'll survive. We'll survive the glitches and the nonsense that happens when sometimes I have issues and get home late and don't set up the show fast enough. So that's it. Let's go. Let's start. Should we say hi to everybody? Well, of course we should. But here's my real face. And I'm straight out of hip surgery. Crazy motherfucking name Dawg. How y'all doing? Oh, and we're 1/6 of the way to our daily Streamlabs donation goal. So hit the Streamlabs link, pdognight.live, or whatever the clicky thing in the chat pops up every once in a while, and drop a couple bucks in the tip jar because Daddy needs some shoes. So there you go. All right, let's say hi first in the chat. Well, I'll acknowledge the people who made it to Rumble, even though there's nothing going on there. Avocados Diablo gets the bell over there. Congratulations. Also, thank you and good morning to Mike Savage, who popped in over on Rumble and then realized Dawg's an idiot. So there you go. Thanks, guys, for joining me on Rumble. First in the chat on YouTube is also Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. And good morning to Somnambul Nation, Mike Savage Blarg. Also, good morning to Kara Soldier, Attack Alpaca, Anonymity, T2, I'll be back. Septus Wolf, welcome back. Haven't seen you for a while. James PFP is here. Welcome. Also, hello to Renee Mayette. What's up? Happy Friday to you too. GDSOB's in the house. Ranting Monkey, my brother from another mother. Hello, sir. Welcome. Also, good morning to Sheograth. And let's see. Hey, guys. Hope everyone is well. I hope you're well, too, Monkey. Let's see. Who else is here? There's a lot of people here. What the hell? Mike Savage. Yes, I said Mike Savage. I'm hoping I get some people who are wondering why the hell I say Donald Trump is a jackass, because he is kind of a jackass. But I'm still. Oh, the end yet. You know the rest of the line though. You know, because I say this all the time. You know that I think Donald Trump's a jackass. I've thought he's a jackass since the 1980s, and yet, when your choices are between a jackass and a sundowner who isn't even really running the country, the grand marionette himself, of course I'm going to choose the jackass. Besides, the jackass did some good stuff. I mean, you could be a jackass and still have the right policies, and that's where we're going with that. So hopefully, I don't know, share the stream. If you haven't shared the stream, let someone know that I'm calling Donald Trump a jackass. I might get some Trump supporters coming here that are thinking that I'm going to run down Donald Trump, and I'm not. I you know, if you can't acknowledge that Donald Trump's a jackass, you might not really be a Trump supporter, okay? Because you have to go get past his jackassedness. Is that What the hell did I just say? Jackassedness. Anyway, I got my cup of reparations in the Papa Bear Cup from Breckenridge, Colorado. We had a lovely trip out there a couple years ago. And I didn't even ski. I drank a lot. We went to a brewery, a distillery, a winery. We went all kinds of stuff. But anyway, also Gunfox dropped another Hamilton in the chip jar. Thank you, sir. You are still the Streamlabs Superstars sponsor today with a message that
China is asshole.
Yes, China is asshole, and we'll see what that article is about, and drop that in the list of things to do today, since he is generously hijacking the show with another Hamilton. But anyway, you know, one of these days, someone's going to be a Superstar sponsor over Gunfox 61. Oh, I should probably there you were. I have to update the Superstar sponsor of the day. It's just got to be more than whoever does the most on Streamlabs is the Superstar sponsor of the day from Streamlabs. Only Streamlabs though. Because Streamlabs, if you do it on Streamlabs, then you're not giving YouTube 30%. And I know you don't want to give you. I mean, Susan's gone, and I don't know what the other jackhole's name is, but I don't want him to have it either. So, but whatever you do, wherever you go, I'm greatly appreciative. Believe me, this is not my main source of income. I'd like to be someday, but it's not. So I'm not going to pretend it's going to be. Anyway, let's get into this show, because there's. What's happening in the world today? Now, I know that it's a special day because of, well, let me just put it this way. Oh wait, did I blow this already? Where's Brian? There's that. What happened to the special day of the day? I got Scott Jennings all over the place. I don't want Scott Jennings. I want the special day of the day. Okay, let's try this again. Hopefully, please bear with me. Sometimes we're in boomer vision. Oh, thank goodness. It's still there. Okay, today is a very special day because it is National Smile Day. Now, I know. You thought the first thing I was going to talk about was the verdict in the Manhattan trial, but no, it's a trending topic. It's one of the trending topics. I always pick a day of what the day is, and today is National Smile Day. And so, you get beautiful little ditties like this on. What the hell's going on here? Here we go. Here, see, it's National Smile Day. Now look, this father and daughter just over here smiling, and they look happy. And I know that a lot of Democrats are smiling today because they think they've got this great victory in Manhattan. But there's lots of nice little things for National Smile Day. Now I got to be careful scrolling anytime you, especially when people talk about National Smile Day on Twitter, X, the app formerly known as Twitter. You might end up getting things like that are vertical smiles. And we don't want to see a vertical smile show up on my screen. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this off the screen right now because we don't need that. Okay? We just don't. Anyway, happy National Smile Day. In fact, I scrolled down and after I took it off the screen, and all of a sudden there's some body parts. Smiles that I don't want to see. Now, at least they're covered body parts. There's a lot of people, though, showing their smiles. And at least no one's really showing their naughty bits. So anyway, happy National Smile Day. I didn't say hi to everyone on YouTube yet, did I? Yes, I did. Is anyone else new here yet? Oh, Green Badger Outdoors is here. Jonathan Peterson. I didn't mean to skip you there. GDSOB. Septus, well, I got there. Okay, good. We're doing good. All right. Yes, some vertical smiles are better than others. Yes. How dare you assume their gender? I didn't say, what did I say about gender? I didn't say anything about gender. What are you talking about? Anyway. All right. Also, in the news, or at least in trending topics, core PCE is now, it's one of these inflation indicators. And so there is some breaking news on this morning. Core PCE, which I don't, producers something index. It's a gauge of inflation. Okay, it's a gauge of inflation. Which now it depends on who you talk to, if this is a good number or not. So PCE year over year, 2.7% or 2.75%, which is about what they expected. They knew this. So it's still inflation is still a concerning issue, obviously. Now someone here says, how do they said 2.75 core PCE is the lowest since March 2021. Now, what happened in 2021? That inflation started to go up high. Oh, we were like 3 months into the Biden presidency. Now, of course, you can't blame inflation totally on Joe Biden, but it's a great thing to do politically. But look, the idea, if you look at this chart that you said, look at this chart. So this is 2020. Look at the inflation. Oh, can you see my cursor? I don't even know if you can. Here's the inflation in 2020, and then 2021 comes about, and all of a sudden, whoa, we're way up here. So at least it's not as bad as it was in the middle of the Biden presidency. But good morning, Canahotep, by the way. But you can see that these numbers here, and actually up from last month, is still way higher than these numbers. And so, you got to be concerned. And at least they started the scale at 1 so you could actually see what it looks like. So it's the core PCE price index. It rose 0.25% in April, which that's not good, because hasn't Biden been telling us that prices have come down? And someone's like, it's funny. The other day, I'm looking at Biden's X feed, Twitter feed, whatever, and they said that Biden has brought the price of gas down. Now, I remember when gas prices really got bad a couple of years ago, and he was like, "Oh no, it's not the president who does anything about gas prices." And then he said something, they're gonna deplete some gasoline reserves that are supposed to be there for emergencies, and they're gonna try to lower the price of gas for the 4th of July holiday this year. And I thought to myself, the price of gas has gone up in the last 3 months. I get gas at least once a week, and I know the price of gas went up, and he's saying it came down. And so I tried to figure out, well, what the fuck is Joe Biden talking about, or his interns that manage his Twitter feed. And I figured out that they were talking about from when it was at its highest in the middle of the Biden presidency. So from the highest point, it's lower from then until now, but in the last couple of months, it's gone up. And if you look at from, let's say, 4 years ago, prior to he became president, it's way up. It's almost double what it was then. And so I'm trying to figure out, well, what the fuck are you talking about, Joe? Does anybody know? I don't know. I guess it's some election year razzle dazzle. Give him the old razzle dazzle, like what's that? What show is that from? Is that from Chicago? I can't remember. Give them the old razzle dazzle. Does anyone know what show that's from? I'm not really up on every show tune. Anyway, so core PC is up 0.25% from last month. It's still 2.75% over last year, which means prices have continued to rise at about 2 to 3% rate during the Biden presidency, which is, who cares? It's, we got a trial in New York to talk about. So anyway, that's trending. Now, also, well, let's see. I'm going to skip. Well, we're going to get into the everything trending today. Pretty much has to do with the Trump trial in Manhattan. So we'll get to that. But let's do the Gun Fox article, since you've already dropped a couple Hamiltons. This is interesting. Let's see. Let's do the first one. What's the first one? Yeah, the first one here. Here is this is happened in California. There's a Democrat in California who had an interesting speech on I think it was the California Senate. State Senator Susan Eggman. Now, she's not going to continue to serve as a state senator from her district in California, but she's a progressive Democrat, right? And I saw this speech. Hello, Unacceptable Views, by the way. I saw this speech, and I was trying to figure out, okay, what the hell is she talking about? So California Democrat says, I'm done. I don't want people buying little girls anymore, and I'm tired of saying it's okay and that we have to protect the men who do it. Wait a minute. Now, I'm confused already just by the headline. Now, I saw this. I did see the video, so I don't have to. This isn't surprising to me because I saw this. But wait a minute. the line in this sentence that really got me, okay, not the people buying little girls, even though that's really bad, but the fact that she says, and I'm tired of saying it's okay. And then we had so anyway, meet California Senator Susan Eggman. Eggman, along with many of her Democrat colleagues, are supporting the Senate Bill 1414, a bill that would make soliciting underage prostitutes in California a felony punishable by 2 to 4 years in prison, a $25,000, I believe, fine, and registration as a sex offender. Okay, that's the bill that they're trying to push. And apparently, there's a lot of Democrats who apparently don't want to vote for this bill. But anyway, California state. But now, right now, and it's a felony, an underage prostitute. So under the age of, I don't know what they consider underage in California, probably 12 or something. No, 18, I think. But right now, as the law as it stands in California, it only punishes this crime as a misdemeanor. Now, sadly, it looks like a small minority of California Senate Democrats want to keep it a misdemeanor. I wonder if what's the guy's name? Scott Wiener, the appropriate name dude. Oh, yeah, in fact, they mentioned him right away. So anyway, but after Public Safety Committee controlled by Democrat State Senator Scott Wiener rebels, was finished with it, it was so watered down, Grove wanted to take her name off of it. So here it is. Here's a reminder who Scott Wiener is, by the way. Senator Scott Wiener made it possible for a 24-year-old man with AIDS to rape a 14-year-old boy and intentionally pass HIV and not end up on the sex offender registry or be charged with a felony for passing a deadly disease. Then it was the same rapist, that same racist can identify as a woman and be transferred to a woman's prison. These are all bills that Scott Wiener not only sponsored, but passed in the California Senate. So anyway, so instead of a felony, the crime would be a wobbler, meaning the court can decide whether to change the accused or charge the accused with a felony or a misdemeanor. The need to know or reasonably know the sex worker was underage was reinstated, and first-time offenders would not always have to register as a sex offender. So that's the changes they made to the bill that this woman wanted to pass. The most controversial change was to make the bill essentially make it not apply when the victim was 16 or 17, leaving the crime a misdemeanor in those cases. Now, I don't know what other state laws are like. I'm sure that there's a little more, I don't know. I'm sure there's more stringent provisions in other states making it a felony, but for whatever reason, Senator Wheeler and here's Senator Wiener, the reason he always does this because he wants to be able to do this with underage boys. So, when they say the prostitute, it doesn't have to be a female prostitute. Anyway, again, Scott Wiener, everyone, an elected official in California. Let me see what this is. How can I pass laws lowering the age of consent and pretend it's an LGBTQ issue? That's kind of his mantra. So anyway, the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. Now remember them? They used to actually care about the Constitution and, they used to try to protect people. But the ACLU said stopping pedos would have unintended consequences, such as imprisoning more black and brown people, which is racist, apparently even if those demographics are the one purchasing the kids for sex. Now, first of all, I have to think about this. So is the ACLU saying that more black and brown people are more likely to buy underage girls for sex? I want to contest that thought. I'm just saying. So that makes it concerning. That's what makes it concerning, not the fact that they're buying underage prostitutes. That you might actually have more people. Okay, how about if we deter the behavior by throwing people in jail for committing that crime, and then maybe you'll have less black and brown people committing that crime. That's some backward thinking. So anyway, see, it's more important not to be fake racist than it is to protect children, but the state senator, Susan Eggman, just wasn't having it. So let's just listen to Susan Eggman, who's she's the subject of this particular post on X, and let's listen to her speech concerning this, because this is I saw this the other day. This is something else. Maybe.
Thank you, Mr. President and members.
Oh,
I'd like to say,
just a reminder too. Susan Eggman is one of those progressive Democrats. She might as well be on the squad, but something deep inside of her made her make this speech. Okay, listen carefully.
as a progressive, proud member of this body for the last 12 years, I'm done.
Done. She's done.
I'm done with us protecting people who would buy and abuse our children. I'm done. I don't want to send more black and brown men to prison. I don't want more people in prison, but I don't want people buying girls. I don't want people buying little girls anymore. And I'm tired of saying it's okay and that we have to protect the men who do it. As a mental health professional and as a social worker, I can tell you I've spent my entire career working with people who have been wounded.
Stop. Wait a minute. Avocados Diabli. No, I don't frequent legal age ice shack whores, okay? I don't need an ice shack whore, okay? I just don't. I don't even go ice fishing. I've only been ice fishing twice in my entire life, okay? And the first time I was like 12 years old. So there were no ice shack whores on the rivers in Nebraska where we went ice, or no, it was a lake actually. And no, I don't even know if there are ice shack whores in Minnesota. I think that's strictly an Ohio thing, okay? No, there are no ice shack whores in Minnesota. Okay, let's finish with her speech here.
I'm not going to say beyond repair, but they have been wounded to their core by the abuse that's been heaped on them, oftentimes by those that they love and look to protect them.
Tell them, Susan.
And if their
You go,
parents
girl.
won't do it, then by God, we should.
Damn right.
Again, I
Damn
am not
right.
arguing that we open the gates to flood our prisons with people. But
Except
I
for
am arguing
pedophiles.
that we have a moral responsibility to say enough. Enough. We have given away enough on this area, and we've got to move back into the center, or we all look like fools.
Oh,
And
or we might. Notice she said in the future, we all look like fools. No, y'all look like fools to the rest of us around the country already, but thank you for coming to your senses.
laughing stocks. And what do we stand for? I ask all of you to watch the documentary that Senator Grove was in, Senator from Kern County was just in, that talked about this very place in Sacramento where girls are being bought and sold.
In Sacramento. Now, in Sacramento. That's the capital of California. That's not San Francisco or Los Angeles or San Diego. And that coastal, that big long stretch of cement. This is in Sacramento even. That's just happening. But I'm sure it's happening in those other places too. And might not just be girls. Probably isn't. Scott Wiener's district. He's doing everything he can to make sure that underage boys can have sex with men.
Men are being given a slap in the hand or a couple days, and then they're back out again, and they do the same thing. They get caught over and over and over again, and somehow that's okay. It's not okay. It is not okay anymore, and no more am I watching. Like I said, I'm leaving, but the rest of you who are going to be here for a while, let's get our stuff together and really start focusing on some of the important things. We talk about learning, and we talk about being safe. This is like at the core of it. And a lot of these kids can be throwaway kids. They're poor kids. They're kids of color. But they shouldn't.
Yeah, isn't that funny too? Because they're worried about putting about black and brown people in jail. Well, who are they victimizing? Black and brown people, usually. Becky from the suburbs isn't stuck down here whoring for $20. I don't know.
They have to live a life determined by what happens to them by others at a very young age, and by have the
Although there probably are some Beckys from the suburbs.
Democratic Party of California say it's okay. It's not okay. And I'm not doing it anymore, and I hope none of you do too. We have to be able to draw a line, and for me, I'm drawing a line. I urge your I vote.
Let's just give it up for Susan Eggman of California. Now, I wish, unfortunately, she's leaving the California Senate, but good for her, man. So anyway, that's, I don't know if there's anything else to add. There's, let's see. Oh, here's, oh my gosh, listen to this. So as the Democratic Party slips further and further to the left, here's the rest of the article. It's great to see that there are normal Democrats even in California. Oh, straight up. Whoops. Well, that's kind of a combination because there's clowns and there's good ones. And as for those of you going, it's easy for her to say all of this and then quit the party. She's not quitting the party. Her term is up in less than a year, and that doesn't take anything away from what she's saying here. As for SB 1414, well, it did pass unanimously in the Senate, though it remains watered down and pro-pedophile because of the far-left Democrats in the Public Safety Committee who changed the bill. So, but at least it passed. It's a start, but man, as Monkey would say, Monkey, are you still here? As Monkey would say, California, you need to fix your shit. So anyway, thank you, Gunfox, for that one. Let's do Gunfox's other article. And this is from the BBC, not the good kind, but the British kind, which begs the question, is it really BBC if it's in Great Britain? But anyway, Hong Kong convicts 14 activists of subversion. Uh-oh, what the hell?
China is asshole.
Hong Kong found, oh my God. Oh, now I understand. This might start happening in the United States, actually, because I just read what the first line, and there's the way Democrats are changing laws and how the judicial system works. This might happen in the United States. So Hong Kong found 14 pro-democracy activists guilty of subversion in the largest use yet of a China-imposed national security law.
China is asshole.
They included former lawmakers Leung Kwok Hong and Helena Wong, journalist turned campaigner Gwyneth Ho, not the good kind, the bad. Well, no, she said maybe not the bad kind, not the California kind, and ordinary Hong Kongers who joined the mass protest of 2019, such as Nurse Winnie Yu. So they had their own little January 6th, apparently. So they were among the 47 activists charged with trying to, quote, overthrow, end quote, the government by organizing an unofficial primary in 2020 to pick candidates who can run for office. Oh my gosh, this is what Democrats are gonna do to the Republicans pretty soon. And they would have created a constitutional crisis for Hong Kong if they had indeed been elected to the legislature, the court ruled on Thursday. The convictions show. Now, I'm waiting for some January 6ers to run for Congress and win. You gonna cover? Oh, are you gonna cover Trump's presser at 11 a.m. Eastern? Well, is it coming up right now? Ooh, maybe we should watch that. I was gonna do a bunch of Trump stuff today. Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll do. Yeah, let's finish this, and we'll see if we can jump over to that real quick. All right. You would have created a constitutional crisis. Blah blah blah. The conviction showed the scale and the seriousness of the criminal scheme. This sounds like a New York court or January 6th trial, said Hong Kong Chief Executive John Lee, adding that his government will do its utmost to prevent, suppress, and impose punishment for any activities endangering national security. Outside the courthouse on Thursday, Vanessa Chan, the wife of Leung Kwok Hung, was arrested along with 3 other activists for trying to stage a protest, according to police sources, for disorderly conduct. On Thursday, 3 high court judges, Andrew Chan, Alex Lee, and Johnny Chan, agreed with the prosecutor's argument that had the pro-democracy candidates been elected, they would have tried to veto or refuse to pass any budgets introduced by the Hong Kong government. This and other actions, the court said, would have led to serious interfering and disrupting or undermining the performance of duties and functions in accordance with the law by the Hong Kong government. As evidence, the court cited letters and campaign materials found at the defendants' homes and on their devices when they were arrested more than 3 years ago. So they've been wallowing for 3 years on this. The court acquitted 2 of the defendants, former district councilors Lawrence Lau and Li Yushun, saying it cannot be sure that they were parties to the scheme or that they had the intention to subvert the state's power, but the Justice Department said they would appeal the acquittals. Now, can you believe that? And they can appeal acquittals in Hong Kong. Yeesh, Democrats are going to start pushing for that too. For anytime a Republican gets acquitted of something, they'll start pushing for the government to be able to appeal an acquittal. Anyway, the 47 make up some of the most prominent names in the pro-democracy movement going back to 2014 when thousands protested for free and fair elections. They encapsulate the diverse and universal yearning for democracy and freedom among Hong Kong citizens, Simon Cheng, who was accused of violating the NSL, told the BBC. He fled Hong Kong and has since been granted asylum in the UK. The case drew huge attention as yet another test for Hong Kong's civil liberties under Beijing's rule. Along with the trial of billionaire Jimmy Lai, it spotlighted the growing criticism that the national security law has been used to crush dissent. But China has said that the law restored stability to the city in the wake of the 2019 protests and is essential to maintaining order. My God! Are you all listening to this? This literally, can you see this happening here? Just based on what's been going on over the last 3 or 4 years, the way these are national security firms. We're the biggest threat to democracy are domestic terrorists or domestic threats. This is like, I'm telling you, it's just like listening to
China is asshole.
listening to it's like listening to Democrats. Yes, holy Fook was also. Hopefully this worked. Let's see if it did, and we'll find out shortly. It should be back. And hopefully it didn't start a new stream. Come on. Am I back? Okay, looks like we're good. All right. Yeah, there's a glitch in Streamlabs OBS that I still haven't figured out how to fix. So, looks like we're back on. It didn't say this on my monitor here, but it looks like you guys are saying I'm back. Good. And ads being pushed. Lots of ads. Sorry about that. I've been trying to just they no longer allow skippable ads. I don't know why. So anyway, all right, let's see if we can find this press conference real quick. Let's try maybe C-SPAN. Oh wait, I can't do that. Hang on, let's go to YouTube C-SPAN because apparently there's a press conference Donald Trump is supposed to have at 11 o'clock Eastern time, and we may end up just doing that for a bit here. Come on YouTube. Let's see. C-SPAN. Please let it be on C-SPAN, I hope. Live. Okay, nope. Let's see. Okay, and that's not it. Does anyone have it on here anywhere? I'm gonna try. Should be live Trump press conference. It should be. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so here we are. This is the live. Oh, hang on a second. Gotta make sure that you can see it. Right now, looks like they're waiting for the president to come out. And this is the AP feed. I'm going to mute it for now. We'll wait for him to come out and speak. Oh, which one do you have it on, Monk? On Trump's, it's on Trump's YouTube? Oh, let's do that instead. Screw the AP. That'd be much better. Besides, less likely to, I will never surrender, donate. By the way, well, while we're waiting for that, I'm going to open a different window. In fact, I'll just leave it on low here, and we'll look at some other stuff going on. One of the things that happened last night that's fascinating is the Trump campaign got a massive influx of cash yesterday. After the guilty verdict, the donation site crashed. Former President Donald Trump's campaign donation page crashed Thursday within minutes of the jury rendering a guilty verdict. Shortly after the verdict, the page displayed a 500 error stating something went wrong. Trump also received a massive influx of cash from major donors after the verdict, including $300,000 from Sequoia Capital partner Sean McGuire. The timing isn't a coincidence, McGuire wrote on X. In the past, Sequoia Capital employees have donated both to the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee, as well as the anti-Trump group Lincoln Project, according to Open Secrets. Trump's campaign wrote on X that America's people could see through the crooked Joe Biden's rigged show trial. So many Americans were moved to donate to President Trump's campaign that when red pages went down, the campaign said. The jury convicted Trump on all 34 counts, falsifying business records, charged at the end of the indictment brought by the Democratic District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Trump is set to be sentenced on July 11th. $34 million in one day. Holy shite, Batman. Good morning, Nomad, by the way.
Stop. Hammer time.
Also, Furry Kittens in the house. Anon 123 is here. Welcome. Let's see. I just want to see. I guess I'll just leave the volume on, and when that press conference starts, we'll go to it. So anyway, let me go back to the. There we go. Where's the influx of cash one? This one right here. The hell happened to it? Did I close it by accident? Oh no, there we go. So anyway, New York gubernatorial candidate Lee Zeldin also wrote on X after the verdict that he just secured an $800,000 donation from someone for President Trump's joint fundraising committee. Never experienced a massive ask that easy, he wrote. The Trump campaign and WinRed did not immediately respond for requests for comments. So then, other thing. Well, let's just go through some of the things while we're waiting for that press conference. Things are trending. Obviously, Alvin Bragg is trending, and some people are dragging Alvin Bragg. Some people are praising him to the nines. Let's see. Today's conviction. This is Thomas Massey. Today's conviction was a weaponization of the judicial system, but there is more to come. Alvin Bragg is funded by the state of New York, but Jack Smith is funded by the U.S. Congress, led in the House by Mike Johnson, who refuses to defund the next sham conviction of Trump. Trump's up, is he? Okay, here we go. All right, let's listen. Maybe. Why isn't this off? There we go. I got no volume. What the hell? Okay, come on. Well, let's. And I've got no volume. You got to be fucking kidding me. Okay, so we're going to go back. Oh, damn it. Why am I getting no volume?
Right now, today,
There
he
we
could
go.
stop it. But he's not. They're destroying our country. Our country is in very bad shape. And they're very much against me saying these things. They want to raise your taxes by 4 times. They want to stop you from having cars with their ridiculous mandates that make it impossible for you to get a car or afford a car, but make it very possible for China to build all of our cars. It's a very serious problem that we have. We just went through one of many experiences where we had a conflicted judge, highly conflicted. There's never been a more conflicted judge.
You know,
now, I'm under a gag order,
it's
which nobody's
interesting.
ever been under. No presidential candidate's ever been under a gag order before.
He's still under the
I'm
gag
under
order.
a
by
gag
the way.
order, nasty gag order, where I've had to pay thousands of dollars in penalties and fines and was threatened with jail. Think of it. I'm the leading candidate. I'm leading Biden by a lot, and I'm leading the Republicans to the point where that's over. So I'm the leading person for president, and I'm under a gag order by a man that can't put 2 sentences together, given by a court, and they are in total conjunction with the White House and the DOJ, just so you understand. This is all done by Biden and his people. Maybe his people,
Allegedly.
more importantly. I don't know if Biden knows too much about it.
Oh, that was a chair
I don't know if he
upstairs.
knows
Yeah.
about anything.
I'll explain
But
later.
he's nevertheless the president, so we have to use his name. And this is done by Washington, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. So we have a judge who's highly conflicted. You know what the confliction is. Nobody wants to write about it, and I'm not allowed to talk about it. If I do, he said,
Well, there's a lot
I
of
get
people
put in
writing
jail.
about it. Let's be honest.
So we'll play that game a little bit longer. We won't talk about it, but you're allowed to talk about it. I hope you do, because there's never been anybody so conflicted as this. As far as the trial itself, it was very unfair. We weren't allowed to use our election expert under any circumstances. You saw what happened to some of the witnesses that were on our side. They were literally crucified by this man who looks like an
Well, not
angel,
literally,
but he's really a devil.
Figuratively.
He looks so nice and soft. People say, oh, he seems like such a nice man. No, unless you saw him in action. And you saw that with a certain witness that went through hell. And when we wanted to do things, he wouldn't let us do those things. But when the government wanted something, they got everything. They got everything they wanted. It was a rigged trial. We wanted a venue change where we could have a fair trial. We didn't get it. We wanted a judge change. We wanted a judge that wasn't conflicted.
Multiple conflicts.
And obviously he didn't do that. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We had a DA who was a failed DA. Crime is rampant in New York, violent crime. That's what he's really supposed to be looking at. Crime is rampant in New York. Yesterday in McDonald's, you had a man hitting him up with machetes, a machete. Whoever can imagine even a machete being wielded in a store, in a place where
Okay,
they're
he's
eating, and
rambling.
he's going rampant. And Bragg is down watching a trial on what they call crimes. They're falsifying business records. That sounds so bad. To me, it sounds very bad. You know, it's only a misdemeanor, but to me, it sounds so bad. When they say falsifying business, that's a bad thing for me. I've never had that before. I'm falsifying. You know what falsifying business records is? In the first degree. They say falsifying business records. Sounds so good, right? It means that legal expense, I paid a lawyer, totally legal. I paid a lawyer a legal expense. And a bookkeeper, without any knowledge from me, correctly marked it down in the books. A very professional woman, highly respected, she testified, marked it down in the books as a legal expense. So a legal expense, paid a lawyer, is a legal expense in the books. It's not
I gotta say,
sheetrock,
he's rambling.
construction.
He doesn't have a
or
prepared
any other
statement.
thing. It's a legal expense.
And He's not at his best when he doesn't have a prepared statement. But everything he's saying is true.
And I said,
and he's limited in what he can say. So I don't know what
it?
else he's going to say here.
What else are you going to call it? Now, I would have testified. I wanted to testify. The theory is you never testify because as soon as you...
Stop saying that, because he could have testified, but it was against the advice of his lawyers. And he probably, you know, if this was a real fair trial, this jury would have never convicted him. They don't even know what they're convicting him of. But anyway.
Testify anybody. If it were George Washington, don't testify because they'll get you on something that you said slightly wrong and then they sue you for perjury. But I didn't care about that. I wanted to. But the judge allowed them to go into everything that I was ever involved in, not this case, everything that I was ever involved in, which is a first.
And the New York Appeals Court
you can go into every single
has
thing
already said you can't have irrelevant
that I ever
testimony.
Did. Was he a bad boy here? Was he a bad boy there? And my lawyer said, what do you need to go through? And all you wanted to do is I simply asked. I would have loved to testify. To this day, I would have liked to have testified. But you would have said something out of whack, like it was a beautiful sunny day and it was actually raining out. And I very much appreciate the big crowd of people outside. That's incredible what's happening. The level of support has been incredible. So the whole thing is legal expense was marked down as legal expense. Think of it. This is the crime that I committed that I'm supposed to go to jail for 187 years for. When you have violent crime all over this city at levels that nobody's ever seen before, where you have businesses leaving, and businesses are leaving because of this, because heads of businesses say, man, we don't want to get involved with that. I could go through the books of any business person in this city, and I could find things that, in theory, I guess, let's indict him, let's destroy his life. But I'm out there, and I don't mind being out there because I'm doing something for this country, and I'm doing something for our Constitution. It's very important, far beyond me.
He is correct that the purpose of this trial was to be able to call him a felon, no matter how
but this is far
easy it will be to
overturn
overturn
this is bigger
conviction.
than my presidency. And the people understand it because I just see a poll just came out, the Daily Mail. That was the first one
Good
came
point,
out.
Andrew.
It was done last night right after the verdict, where I'm up 6 points. 6 points from what we already were. We were leading fairly substantially. We're up 6 points in the Daily Mail poll. Now, maybe other polls come out and it says something differently. But a lot of people have predicted it because the public understands, and they understand what's going on. This is a scam. There's a rigged trial. It shouldn't have been in that venue. We shouldn't have had that judge. He should have allowed us to have an election expert. We had the best expert, most respected expert, head of the Federal Elections Commission. He was all set to testify. He was waiting for 2 days. And when it was his turn, Bragg's people protested. And the judge knocked him out, said you can't testify. He actually said you can't testify for anything having to do with the trial. You can say what the federal elections is. Well, that doesn't help. Everybody knows that. But you can't testify. So essentially, he wasn't able to testify. Other people weren't able to testify. But with these people, they were able to use people salacious. By the way, and nothing ever happened. There was no anything. Nothing ever happened, and they know it. But they were as salacious as they could be, and it had nothing to do with the case. But it had to do with politics.
Now, it's interesting. In New York, he's talking about Stormy Daniels' testimony. New York, just a couple days before she testified, their appeals court, here, I'm going to pause this. Their appeals court overturned a case because there was testimony in the case that was nothing but, salacious information that had nothing to do with the current trial, but something completely unrelated, or even not necessarily unrelated, but not anything that was affecting that particular trial. So the Supreme Court overturned a conviction and told them to go back and do it again. And then 2 days later in this trial, Stormy Daniels testified to things that had nothing to do with the record keeping. So that's interesting too.
Was dropped by the highly respected Southern District. They said, no, there's no case here. It was dropped by federal election, and that's what it's about. This is about a federal election, not a state election. You're not even allowed to look at it. They took the state and the city, and they went into a federal election. They're not allowed. The people from federal election, Southern District, and Washington dropped the case. Everybody dropped the case. There was no case. Cy Vance dropped the case. And when Bragg came in, he said, this is the most ridiculous case I've ever seen. And who would have a certain person, again, gag order, who would have a certain person like this ever testify? He said, this is essentially one of the worst people I've ever seen, ever, to testify. He said, the craziest case I've ever seen, this is Bragg. Then when I announced I was running for president, long time later, they decided to revive this case.
So,
and they got a judge, Judge Marchand.
Obviously, he's basically going through his opinions on this that are no different than most of the opinions you're going to hear, but it's interesting hearing it directly from him. Real quick, thank you. Steve Dave is in the house. What's up, brother? Nice to see you. And dropped in a 669. Uh-oh. Dropping a 669 into the tip jar. Steve Dave says, this is a dangerous precedent indeed. That ratio looks like absolute garbage, Chad. Smash the like button so everyone with Trump derangement syndrome can listen to this banter as well. Don't be a mutton. Smash the like button. Thank you, Steve Dave, with the sexy 669 Streamlab donation. Thank you, sir. You are a great American. Here, you get a bell and a claps. All right. Let's see if Trump says anything new that we didn't know about. Here's the problem with him coming out and talking, though. He's still under the gag order, so he can't go into too much. Even though, I imagine now that some of the people have testified, because he couldn't talk about some of the people who testified before they testified, so maybe he can talk about Stormy Daniels, maybe he can talk about Michael Cohen, maybe he can talk about some of the other witnesses, but he's still under the gag order concerning the judge. So I don't know if he's going to get in trouble for even doing this press conference. I want to hear the press ask questions, though.
Who was?
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to speed this up.
Responsible for another case that was also brought. It destroyed the life of a very good man, by the way. Destroyed the life of a very good man who went to prison once, and then they just put him in prison again because they said he lied. He didn't lie. I looked at
try to get him
statements he
caught
made.
up here.
In fact, he didn't remember something, and they put him in jail. Again, they've destroyed him. With me for many years. He was an honorable person. He was an honest man.
Talking about Weissman.
You look at what he did, supposedly. It never happened. There's never been anything like this. Over the education of his grandchildren. He didn't report that he had a car or two cars on his income. I don't know. I wonder how many people here have cars. I wonder how many people said, oh, gee, I have a car that's worth X dollars. How do you even figure it? And I guess you do have to report it, but I would say probably almost nobody does. Nobody even thinks about it. They destroyed this man. But they put him in jail again because they didn't want him to testify.
Again, Marchand put him in jail. That's the other thing. So somehow Marchand, the judge in Trump's case, just out of supposedly random assignment of judges, Marchand got the case of the Trump executive that he put in jail. Okay. He got Trump's case and he has Steve Bannon's case. All three cases in the Manhattan District Court. Marchand just miraculously have been assigned to.
They didn't want him to testify. That's why he went to jail.
If this goes much longer, I'm going to stop it and go to the Q&A because
now, normally I'd
it's
say
Q&A
that's
Friday.
An old guy, but I don't feel 77. Nobody ever says that about me. I'd like them to say, gee, we have to have a little sorrow for this man because they just don't say that about me, but maybe I'm better off that way. I think I'm probably better off that way. But they put him in jail twice, and you have to see what they put him in jail. And he was threatened by the judge. This man was told, you're going to get 15 years in jail if you don't give up Trump. And he was told that. You're going to get 15 years in jail. And he made a plea deal because he didn't want to spend the rest of his life. And he was told that viciously. We're living in a fascist state. He was told that viciously. So you can go to jail for 4 months, 5 months,
It was
where you can
super
get
vicious. It was very
15 years
viciously.
in jail. So do a plea.
It was
Almost who
it was
wouldn't do that plea?
bigly
Everyone does those
vicious.
pleas. It's a horrible thing. There's a whole group of lawyers that fight that. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. But they destroyed his life. So many other things. You look at Southern District didn't want to bring the case. Nobody wanted to bring the case. And then you know who didn't want to bring the case most of all? Is Bragg. Bragg didn't want to bring it. But then he brought it. And they tried to make it a different case. They didn't say legal expense equal legal expense. Again, if I wrote down and paid a lawyer, and by the way, this was a highly qualified lawyer. Now, I'm not allowed to use his name because of the gag order. But, you know, he's a sleazebag. Everybody knows that. Took me a while to find out. But he was effective. He did work. But he wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. You know, they like to use the word fixer. He wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. At the time, he was a fully accredited lawyer. Now, he got into trouble not because of me. He got into trouble because he made outside deals, and he had something to do with tips and medallions, and he borrowed money. And that's why and then he played 3 elections. And as soon as I saw that, I said, I wonder why he did that. He pled. He took a deal. Now, he took a deal because he wanted to get off. In other words, I'll take a plea deal, and I want to get off. And he wanted to make a deal with the Southern District.
Oh,
and
wait.
they wrote
Not like that.
the worst report I think I've ever seen on any human being, other than the report that was written on James Comey by the Inspector General, a very great Inspector General, actually, wrote a report that was so bad. This one was possibly worse. The Southern District, the judge didn't let us use it. He said, it's hearsay. I said, it's not hearsay. Wouldn't let us use it. This is about the man. But he got in trouble for a very simple reason, because he was involved with borrowing a lot of money, and he did something with the banks. I don't know if it's defrauded the banks, but something happened. You guys know what it is. And then in addition to that, he gave up on 3 things where he wasn't guilty. In fact, they were going to testify in that. The head of the FEC, the Brad Smith, the election expert, #1 rated in the country, was going to testify. He took a plea on 3 things. He just added them in because that gave him more bargaining power with respect to me. But the 3 things that he pled on, having to do with the election and having to do essentially a little bit with me, they weren't crimes. They weren't crimes. Nor is paying money under an NDA. So we have an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. It's a big deal, a non-disclosure agreement. Totally honorable, totally good, totally accepted. Everybody has them. Every company has non-disclosure agreements. But the press called it slush fund and all sorts of other things. Hush money, hush money. It's not hush money. It's called a non-disclosure
money.
agreement.
That's they called it over and over and over.
Most of the people in this room have a non-disclosure agreement with their company. It's a disgrace. So it's not hush money. It's a non-disclosure agreement, totally legal, totally common. Everyone has it. And what happened is he signed a non-disclosure agreement with this person, I guess other people, but it's totally honest. You're allowed to make the payment. You don't have to make it. You can make it any way you want. It's a non-disclosure agreement. And he signed that. And there was nothing wrong with signing it. And this should have been a non-case. And everybody said it was a non-case, including Bragg. Bragg said, until I ran for office. And then they saw the polls. I was leading the Republicans. I was leading the Democrats. I was leading everybody. And all of a sudden, they brought it back. It's a very sad thing that's happening in our country. And it's a thing that I'm honored. In a way, I'm honored. It's not that it's pleasant. It's very bad for family. It's very bad for friends and businesses. But I'm honored to be involved in it because somebody has to do it. And I might as well keep going and be the one. But I'm very honored to be involved because we're fighting for our Constitution. The money that was paid legally. There was nothing illegal. In fact, the lawyer in creating the NDA, because at that time he was a fully accredited lawyer. He wasn't a fixer. I never thought of him as a fixer. The media called him a fixer, or the prosecutors called him a fixer. He was a lawyer. And he was fairly good. Later on, I didn't like what he did. I didn't like, for instance, I didn't like that when I became president, he went around and made deals with companies. When I heard that, he was gone. He was gone. And he had payments coming to him, and a lot of this involved things that are very simple. There was nothing wrong. These were standard stuff, all standard stuff. Everything involved was
payment
standard.
and reimbursement.
In fact, I just watched a couple of the reports. You watched Jonathan Turley, Andy McCarthy, Greg Jarrett. You look at all of these people, Mark Levin, all very talented people, great people.
I'm going to give them 5 more minutes.
Many more. And they don't know me, essentially. They don't know me. They're legal scholars and experts. But I look at them. I watched
Pescopo,
Turley
what
this
up,
morning
man?
saying there's no crime here. Everybody says there's no crime here, except for this DA that's got the city out of control with crime. It's absolutely out of control. So we have an NDA that was signed. We have legal expenses. And here's the thing. On legal expenses, you have 100 where they say, they do a charge. I just recorded this out. Falsification of business records in the first degree. It sounds so bad. I said, wow. And even my own lawyers, I get very upset with them because they don't say what it is. They say, well, falsification of legal records is only a felony. Well, that's a lot. It's only they say a misdemeanor. But they try and bring it up to a felony if there's 2 crimes. They have all these different things. The other thing is they miss the statute of limitations by a lot because this was very old. They could have brought this 7 years ago instead of bringing it right in the middle of the election. So they missed the statute of limitations. They did everything. Now, let me give you the good news. The good news is last night, we just got a report this morning, in the history of politics, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, somebody will find that I'm wrong, maybe, but I don't think so. They raised with small money donors, meaning like $21, $42, $53, $38, a record $39 million in about a 10-hour period.
$39 million.
No, think of that. I like those people.
$39 million.
Because I guess it's backfiring. Now, I don't know. I'd rather not have it happen. I don't want to have it backfiring. I don't want to win this thing legitimately, not because they were stupid and did things that they shouldn't be doing. They shouldn't have brought this case. They were saying it this morning. This is a case that should not have been brought. I watched Andy McCarthy say this is a case that should not have been brought. And that was this morning. But they all say that. Every legal scholar has said it. And these are great people that really understand the law. The other thing, a poll just came out. The first poll, I don't know, maybe others will be bad. But a poll just came out a little while ago. The Daily Mail. Does anybody read the Daily Mail? It's very good. They have a good poll. At least I like it today. And the Daily Mail just came out with a poll, and it has Trump up 6 points in the last 12 hours. 6 points. 6 points
national
since
poll?
This happened. Who thought this could happen?
All right.
Because the people of our country know it's a hoax. They know it's a hoax. They get it. You know, they're really smart, and it's really something. So we're going to be appealing this scam. We're going to be appealing it on many different things. He wouldn't allow us to have witnesses. He wouldn't allow us to talk. He wouldn't allow us to do anything. The judge was a tyrant. And you got to see that with Bob Costello.
You know, I'm I get concerned when he starts talking like this, because right now, sentencing for this trial is 4 days before the Republican National Convention, right? And is the judge going to do something just totally douchey, like require judge, put Trump on like restricted movement, must, you know, or even worse, put him in jail? Now, granted, they already know that there's going to be an appeal on this. And in New York City, it seems like when people are going to appeal, okay, let me give you an example. Remember when the illegal immigrant dudes, they went and beat up a couple cops? Okay, remember them? Now this is in Manhattan. Alvin Bragg is the whatever, the state's attorney, whatever they call him in there, the head honcho of the Manhattan district. Remember they let those guys out on bail, and they just kind of off into the wind, right? Because they hadn't had their trial yet. Are they going to do that with Donald Trump? Are they going to let him? Are they just going to let him fly, or are they going to try to make an example of him? Because remember, they say, "Well, no one's above the law, even if you're the president of the United States." Yeah, but are people like Donald Trump going to get a fair shot like everybody else? I don't think so. Not in New York City. Not with Alvin Bragg. Not with Judge Marchand. I'm curious what Alvin Bragg's going to recommend as far as a sentence. This is going to get real interesting really fast, and it's going to be just before the Republican National Convention. Let's go 2 more minutes, and if he doesn't get to a point, we're going to go to Q&A.
A fine man. I've never seen anything like it, and neither has anybody that was in that courthouse where he demanded that the courthouse be cleared. Now, the good news is most of the people in the courthouse were the media. And anybody that was in the media, if you're fair, you'll say, wow, that was anger. That was crazed. He was crazed. And the reason that Bob Costello acted a little bit upset, which I think he has a right to, was that every question he was being asked was being objected to by the other side and sustained by the judge. Sustained. I think he did it many times. I don't know what
even before the question was asked.
Even I was sitting there saying, and these were basic questions. And I never saw anybody treated that way by a judge. And I've been treated very badly by 2 other judges also, because it's all the same thing. And it all comes out of the White House. Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. He's the worst president in the history of our country. The most incompetent. He's the dumbest president we've ever had. He's the dumbest president, most incompetent president, and he's the most dishonest president we've ever had. And so many he's a Manchurian candidate. You take a look at the way he treats China, Russia, so many others. You know, I ended the Russian pipeline. It was dead. All
right. I'm gonna cut it off there just because the former president is rambling a little bit, and I don't think we're gaining anything new from this. We had an idea what he was going to say, and he's right. This was a sham of a trial. the main purpose of the trial was to get to be able to get a temporary conviction that the Democrats and the people who hate Donald Trump a short victory, no matter how temporary, because the appeals process for this particular trial is not going to be resolved by election time. They know, the judge in particular knows that this is very likely to be overturned on so many different, so many different grounds that, there's not a chance in hell that this conviction stands in the appeals process. And maybe not even in New York, but on several U.S. constitutional grounds. For example, the underlying crimes of this case, the judge gave instructions saying that the jurors don't have to agree on which underlying crime would cause this to be a felony. And that is in direct conflict with a recent Supreme Court ruling in 2010, maybe? I would say 2020. A ruling written by Justice Stephen Brennan and unanimously voted on, overruled by the Supreme Court, that says, no, all underlying crimes must be unanimous by a jury. You can't have a smorgasbord and have 3 jurors say one thing and 2 jurors say something else and a 4th juror say something else. All the underlying crimes have to be agreed to by the jury. In this case, the jurors didn't even say what they agreed to because they made no indication of what they thought the underlying crime was. They just gave a guilty plea as the judge's instructions basically gave them a very narrow choice of what they could and could not do. And so yesterday we were talking about, are they going to obey the judge? Well, the jurors obeyed the judge and came in with a guilty verdict. It's temporary. This is going to be appealed. It's going to be overturned. Who knows what it does for the election? Clearly fundraising for the Trump campaign through the roof for one day. How is this going to affect, the rest of the campaign? How are people who don't follow this stuff as closely? All they're hearing is, oh, Trump was found guilty of this thing. I don't know. I'm not as optimistic about as some saying this is the thing that wins Trump the election. I don't know about that. And also the games that they're playing in some of these other cases, trying to, make it affect the election. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not as confident as some. So anyway, I'll leave a link to this press conference. Unfortunately, I have to be done before they start asking questions. I don't know. Let me skip ahead and see where they're at. Are they answering questions yet?
And they destroyed all of the records.
Let's see here.
From corners of the report that in 2019, I don't believe this, by the way, the media gave it, and it was good for me, believe it or not. They said in 2019 there were no terrorists.
Okay, he's just rambling on and on. So we're not gonna do that. But I'll have a link to this press conference from his site on YouTube. And then also I have a ton of other articles that'll be in the links today. So check it out. Several just different reactions, different things, trending topics that people are reacting to these. I mean, you've probably seen a lot of them. But I have to go to today's Q&A. So buckle up. We'll see where we're at. And let me just do a refresh here. And we'll get to today's Friday Q&A. Give me one moment so I can pop out a window here as my computer decides to. There we go. All right, let's get to Friday's Q&A. Should have done this earlier because this taxes my computer pretty bad. Here we go. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is time for the Friday Q&A. Let's go. By the way, thank you, Sheograth, or hello, Sheograth. I'd just like to apologize ahead of time. What are you apologizing for? Oh, no. Welcome to the show. All right, here we go. Friday Q&A. Oh, shoot. Okay, thank you for filler there, Avocados Diablo. Appreciate it. The first question today is from Avocados Diablo, who says, my one question, since I can only listen today, if you could travel through any one person's digestive tract virtually, who would it be? If I could travel through one person's digestive tract virtually, who would it be? Maybe, let me think about that. Maybe Guy Fieri, because he goes to a lot of really cool little diners, drive-ins, and dives. I don't know. That's the only person I can think of off the top of my head. And then Avocados. Oh, he has Avocados Diablo. Okay, I lied. Here's another. Self-repeating Frankenants were planning to remove your brain and put it in someone or something else. Who or what would it be? Okay, now I have to lurk. If self-repeating Frankenants were planning to remove my brain, who would I want to put it in? So dirty thoughts came to mind, but actually, I would put it into a large Bengal tiger, just to see what it's like to be able to have that much power and whatever. So there you go. Okay, Sheagrath asks, statistically speaking, because of certain years and generation, is Germany the country with the least deformities? What? No, I would say Papua New Guinea is. Okay, I don't know why I said that. Sheograth asks, this is important. Chrissy, Janet, Cindy, or Terry? Ooh. Chrissy, Janet, Cindy, or Terry? You know what's funny? This is kind of like a Gilligan's Island thing. You know what I mean? Because Ginger was supposed to be the hot bun, but really Marianne was. And for some reason, I always thought Janet was the coolest of the bunch of them. Plus, she had somewhat of a brain. I don't like ditzy people. So Chrissy, Cindy, and Terry can go suck an egg. So there you go. Sheograss asks, when a pregnant woman lays on her stomach, is she basically a seesaw? Well, it depends on if she has other children. So if a pregnant woman who has 2 kids is laying on her stomach, then yes, she is. But if she doesn't have any other children, then she's just a fat chick on her belly. Anyway, moving on. Somnambule Nation asks, first reaction upon learning you have a tapeworm. I'm going to the all you can eat buffet then. Sheograth asks, could a NASA astronaut shoot their seed into an air evac room and send their swimmers out into the vast universe? Well, that seems to be a yes or no question. Technically. Wait, who didn't ask that? Oh, she didn't ask what? Oh, that was Somnambule Nation. I'm sorry. That was Somnambule Nation. Said first reaction upon learning you have a tapeworm. Yeah, I just go to, I'm like, fuck it. Let's go to the all-you-can-eat buffet. Somnambule Nation asks, you are served sheep's eye, bull penis, camel hump, and monkey brain. Which are you trying first? I think maybe monkey brain, but only if it's chilled. But then if it's not chilled, then I would have to go with the camel hump, because that's just another, that's like a wing and a thigh. Wing, thigh, camel hump, And that seems like the most normal of those. Sheep eye, bull penis, monkey brain. Yeah, camel hump, definitely. Lord Stanholm asks, if possible, would you like to give a baldo to each of Trump's jurors? Well, as long as the baldo's not attached to me. You mean as a gift, like a parting gift? Yeah, sure. They can have a baldo. If you don't know what a baldo is, look it up. BALLDO. Lord Stanhope, what's for dinner tonight? Burgers and hot dogs. My son. Oh, the reason there's noise, the chair moving upstairs, is my son is in town. My son and his wife are in town for the weekend, and he's working upstairs, and he moved the chair, and it may sound like a fart. But yeah, so we're doing burgers and not just any old hot dogs either. We're having those, those like those gourmet skin on not gourmet, but the really good skin on hot dogs. We're doing those. Somnambule Nation, which do you prefer, anchovies or escargot? You know what's funny? I had never eaten escargot until my wife and I went to Hawaii. She had it when she took our daughter to France. And she said it was really good. I'm like, it just sounds gross. You're eating the snail. But then we had escargot in Hawaii, and I actually liked it. So I think escargot before anchovies. Lord Stanhope, are you lonesome tonight? No, I'm not lonesome tonight. Lord Stanhope, do you feel society has let you down? Society hasn't. Well, certain friggin' politicians let me down. Somnambule Nation asks, Captain or Tennille? Oh, love. Love will keep us together. Dang me, babe, whenever. I would say Tennille, because I'm not gay. Lord Stanhope asks, have you let society down? No, I am stiller. And that's it. Somnambule Nation asks, what do you have against iShack Oars? Okay, spelled E-Y-E, Shaq as in Shaquille O'Neal, and Oars, O-A-R. No, it's Ice Shack Whores. Okay, and I don't have anything against Ice Shack Whores. It's wait, is this? Okay, it's still going. I don't have anything against Ice Shack Whores. I just don't have any need for Ice Shack Whores. If people want to be Ice Shack Whores, they can be Ice Shack Whores. I just don't need them. Sheograph asks, how does a blind person know when they're done wiping? That's an age-old question. And even I remember Blind Press was laughing because it's that stupid question. And apparently, since blind people have more enhanced other senses, senses. Blind people have other more enhanced senses of other types. Her answer was, well, there is a change in friction. So, in fact, do you know when you're done wiping, even if you don't look? You kind of do. You kind of like, oh, it's no longer like slick and, whatever. So you kind of know. You don't have to look. You just kind of know. Anyway, that was dumb. Sheograph asks, if you're blind and you own a seeing eye dog, do you still have to pick up its poop? Because that must be the worst, blindly feeling around the floor for your dog's poop. I'm pretty sure that is the case. That blind people still, with the seeing eye dogs, still have to pick up their dog's poop. But as long as you wear like rubber gloves or have a baggie or something, whatever. But finding it, yeah, that's the hard part. Because maybe your seeing eye dog is trained to show you where the poop is. That's what I would do. I would teach every seeing eye dog to show you where the poop is. Because dogs will sniff their own poop. Okay, Lord Stanhope asks, why does society impose a value for us to live up to? Who is society anyway? Well, no, society... Well, society's values come from God, okay? Let's just leave it at that. I don't really have an answer for that, so I don't know. Who is society? Society are the people who are around you. Anyway, Lord Stanhope says, is Johnny Walker overrated? I don't know. Is Johnny Walker even rated? Like Johnny Walker Blue, Johnny Walker Black, even Johnny Walker Red. They're all okay. It's just Scotch. How can Scotch be overrated? Andrew Thorson asks, have you ever seen an emu? Yes, I have, at a zoo in San Diego. Lord Stanhope, beauty or truth? You can only have one. Beauty or truth, you can only have one. Ugly truth, beauty, but it depends on if I'm dating or if I'm just talking about me. Because I don't have to be beautiful. I just rather have the truth. I'd rather have the truth. Anyway, Lord Stanhope asks, why do leftists always look unhealthy? I don't know. They don't bathe that much. Anyway, Lord Stanhope, are you going to have a good night? Yes, I am. Hanging out with my son and his wife. It'll be great. Lord Stanhope asks, what's worse, a sham or a flim-flam? Definitely a sham. Sheograth, funny to end. Feel free not to read out loud. Oh. Now I know why you apologized. Yeah, I'm not reading that. Oh my God. But you can put that here. I'm just gonna put it in the regular chat. I'm not gonna read it out loud, but I'll put it in the regular chat and it'll show up in the there you go. That was Lord Stanhope's. Oh God, it has my name on it. I'm deleting that. Forget that. All right, never mind. Anyway, Lord Stanhope, what is the best sausage? Oh, dude, there's a place here in town called ZZQ, and they make the really, really good, this really good jalapeno, like, kielbasa type sausage that is just amazing. Select a Boy asks, how are you with chopsticks? I'm very good with chopsticks. For whatever reason, when I was very young, well, I actually learned to use chopsticks from my aunt who is from Japan. My uncle married a woman from Japan, and when I was 7, we went out to California, and she taught me how to use chopsticks, and I've been able to use them ever since. So there you go. Episcopo Hillsong asks, what is your AI predictions? AI is going to make a lot of different people have to learn new skills and have new jobs. I don't think it's going to completely it'll replace humans in some places, but just like every new technology forces people to adapt and have to learn to survive by other means. It's not going to replace people completely, but it's going to cause people to have to completely change how the world works. And there's also going to be a lot of problems with AI as far as deep fakes and shit like that. They're really going to have to figure out ways. As many things that AI is going to screw up, it's going to solve a lot of problems, and there'll be AI solutions for things like deepfakes that to be able to detect deepfakes. So it's the only thing I worry about is that machines are going to learn that they don't need us. So there you go. Lord Stanhope asks, if you had to walk across a desert by yourself, would you bring the hottest woman you ever met or your favorite childhood pet? Oh God, I would bring a pet because I wouldn't want to hear the nagging. Anyway, unless it was my wife. Well, no, that's my wife's the hottest woman I've ever met. So there you go. Select Boy asks, if you were a fighting game character, what would your fighting style be? Traditional Shogun. That would be my style. Okay. Lord Stanhope, what celebrity would you like to sniff glue with? I think Charlie Sheen, just for the sheer entertainment of him being high and figuring out what the hell's never mind. I don't know why. That's the only one I could think of. Sheograth Nas ? I don't know what that means. Lord Stanhope, if you saw a Baldo without knowing the Rikita saga, would you think it's a medieval torture device? Well, it depends if it came in the package. It depends if it came in packaging or not, because I wouldn't be able to figure out what the hell it was. I would think it was like, some kind of gun sheath or something. I don't know what the hell I would think it was. It's just a weird thing completely. All right, Lord Stanhope, what's your favorite Parmesan? Are there different kinds of Parmesan? I don't know. Chunk that you shave yourself? I don't know. Avocados Diabli. Okay, I'm back to ask one more. Given the cold and the exposed flesh, if an ice shack whore had a stripper for clients who wanted it, do you think one ever got stuck to it? What? I don't even know what your question is. I have no idea. Okay, let me try this again. Given the cold and the exposed flesh, if a ice shack whore had a stripper for clients who wanted it, do you think one ever got stuck to it? Oh, like a stripper pole? Probably. I think that's what you meant. It just, you didn't write the whole sentence. And finally, last two, Episcopos is going to be the last one. But this is Lord Stanhope. Will you have a good weekend? Yes, I will, because my son's in town, and it'll be good to see him. And then I'm going to hang out with the grandbabies on Sunday. And Episcopos is the last question. Do you see any way out of the nihilistic crisis for USA? The nihilistic crisis than Christianity. I don't know. Maybe I'm not understanding the question. I'm not really sure what that means. Do you see any way out of the nihilistic crisis for USA than Christianity? Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Look, we need not necessarily a religious, although I'm not against the religious, but we need to kind of have a religious or moral reset, Renaissance type thing, because I think we've gotten so far into the individualisticness of like identity. I think is this still working on YouTube? Why am I getting circles? Oh shit. What the hell's going on here? Oh, there it goes. Okay. We kind of have to have a little bit of a moral reset as far as, like, especially with suddenly the identity thing with the multiple identities of trans and whatever. Everyone's got their own identity. Everyone has wants to have their own pronouns and all this other shit. And there's got to be something that we go, hey, wait a minute. There are some truths in the world, and we got to be able to tell people that you are okay with what you've already been given by nature or by God or whatever you want to call it. That has to be based on, there's got to be realities. And right now we're into that. What do they call it when they say there's really no reality and everything is relativism, I guess. No, there are realities. There are physical realities. There are functional realities that there in the world that somehow we got to get back to realizing that there's no right way to be. There's no right way to be you, and that we got to learn to accept what we've been given and learn what to work with what we have rather than always trying to change everything. So I don't know if that answers the question, but that's my answer. And the last one, select a boy, which I was going to be one more. How do you verify if a doctor is trustworthy? Just experience with that doctor. Okay, I got to go. Thanks, everybody. I'll drop links in the chat, but it is definitely a time for me to get out of here. Thanks for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern. Why are there's only 17 people here? What happened? Anyway, I hope you all have a good weekend, and I'll drop links in the chat. That's it. I got to go. Thanks, sponsors, Gunfox61, Steve Dave, and everyone who's been in the chat. Hit the like button, share the stream, and whatnot. Share the stream afterwards, too. There's in the description, there are always other ways to support the show. And if you hit one of those, I'd be greatly appreciate it. Gotta go, though. Thank you. My name's Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thanks for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.